Happy Thursday, brother. Welcome to the Rose
Hey,
Garden. How are you?
good, sister. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Isn't it be great to be back in the Rose Garden? We took a little break for the new year, for the holiday, but now it's a new year, new us, eh?
Yes, indeed. Happy New Year. Happy 2026.
Happy 2026. For those who don't know, thank you for joining us live today. My name is Sarita. I'm one half of this wonderful co host pair, and I'm with my exceptionally gifted brother, Xadian. And we come in the Rose Garden every week to just spend quality time with each other. This is our mental therapy and to talk about all the things we want to talk about for 45 minutes of greatness. So, thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy our conversation today. Brother, a lot
Mm-hmm.
happened over the new year, though.
Yeah, tell me in, sister. What's been going on?
Well, you know, you've been living this life with me. I mean, the world threw up, I think. Me and my husband got back from travel and then we were like, "Oh, things have exploded around here." So, um it's been tension that I was thankfully removed from for a little bit of time where we didn't know what was happening, but when we came back, you know, I had to remind myself that there is a real need to stay plugged in and to understand what my role is and responsibility as a citizen. So, how have you
Mm.
managed all of that while we were gone?
What on the holiday? Well, honestly, personally, the holiday season was interesting because the year before we had experienced some sudden unexpected deaths in the family,
Mm-hmm.
and then in our friend circle, or really in the I consider it my business family as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, we had a scare again in the family where, one of our loved ones was going through it in regards to, you know, the Grim Reaper knocking at the door and being
Mm-hmm.
being faced with it. And then, our childhood friend, Aiden,
Yes,
rest in peace to him. You
all of
can
that
catch the
happened.
news that that he his ticket's been called. So yeah, it was kind of emotional time in regards to that. So
It
it's
was.
like that.
I
It's
forgot about all of those things in the
mhm,
backdrop of what was going on in the world. We were experiencing some real, um, you know, family and personal griefs as well. Um, so it's been an interesting time. It's like, everybody keeps talking about how New Year's is this time for renewal, but I think it's a time for reflection and purposeful um, interactions. And I call it, this is the time I'm gonna set my intention on how great I'm gonna be, and how I'm going to live in my purpose. And there was some greatness that happened to you over the holiday. And one of the things that I love is that, um, you know, when we were growing up, we were taught to dream. We didn't have a whole bunch of TV. I don't think we were even allowed to watch TV. We had that one TV on the first level and the other TV on the second level that we got to watch 30 or 40 minutes of programming a day. And the rest of it was, hard work, labor,
yeah,
and
man, it was all black and white TVs with the where you put the foil on the end to catch the tune in. I think these kids don't know about that stuff.
the rabbit
You got-
ears. That's what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. You put the rabbit ear joints, but if you ain't had it, I think you can also enhance the rabbit ears by putting a little bit of foil on the end of it and all that. You can catch a channel you can tune in on in the airway.
Right.
Yeah, the kids don't know about that now in this digital age.
Absolutely not. Although, there's so much new science coming out right now about how um, we are really, for lack of a better word, harming our children because they're so engaged in this this digital world. And so that there's all kinds of new pediatric recommendations coming. And there's a country that bans social media use until you're a certain age for children. So even though they don't know what it's like, they may be actually unfortunately going back to that time because we're learning more about what this
Hmm.
constant plugged in means for everybody and how it's changing our brain. But you're right, we had an interesting, even though we had access to things like color TVs were around when we were growing up, our family just didn't have that. you
Not at the time. Yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah. That's right.
look, you notice I remember when we moved out of Virginia,
That's where we
how
got the color
they
TV
went
and stuff.
they went got a satellite dish, a color television. They were just trying to purposefully lock us out of anything that was
Mhm.
civilized until we left. And then when we went back to visit, they had all these beautiful uh, uh, things going on. So yeah, it was an interesting time period. But because we didn't have all those things, I think we were really taught to dream. And so
Mhm.
even if I wasn't doing it on purpose then, now I'm really doing it on purpose. That annually I set my sights on goals.
Mhm.
Um, and our office has an annual vision board party that people can come in and drink, eat food, and really be nourished in the kind of activity of setting intention. And this year we're going to do it again, but this year we're hopefully going to have mom participate and do like a healing circle. So it's going to be kind of
Mhm.
cool.
Mhm.
It's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, let's see what y'all weirdos do. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing with y'all. This healing circle thing, whatever y'all talk about. I ain't never seen no healing circle. Let's see what happens in the healing circle.
Well, you probably need to attend because I see that you're little that you've been relieved from your sling. So somebody has liberated you from your bondage and your arm is free. So does this mean that you've gotten a clean bill of health and you can start doing some therapy?
Yeah. I'm actually in the physical therapy now. So yeah, the sling is officially been retired. But now I gotta get the full mobility of the arm moving again. So before I start putting the strength on it, but I'm really happy to be, healing,
Oh, let's
progressing
reflect
in the
on
healing
your
journey.
time in bondage. One, I want everybody to know that you were committing all kinds of misdemeanors. But if we had to just describe a little bit what it's like for Xadian to be told he can't do something, and for how long were you in that sling?
Like 6 weeks, I think,
So it
total.
was 6 weeks of immobility, truly, like that was what
Hmm.
was expected. So what changed for you? What was different?
Oh, I mean, everything is different. Like first starting with taking a shower, for example, that was more challenging because I didn't realize how often I use my left hand. Well, I actually did prior to getting the shoulder surgery.
Hmm.
I realized that the left arm was like, I guess, a little bit more flexible than the right arm
Mm,
because you could see if you just reach your hand over your head behind your back, like the left hand was like dropping below the shoulder blades, where the right hand was a little bit tighter,
hmm.
and then like going in the other direction where you put your hand behind your back, but you're starting from the ground coming up,
Hmm.
and then pushing your hand up. Like the left arm always seemed a little bit more flexible than the right arm in that sense. So I knew that going into the situation, but then the right arm began to do everything, so it got a lot more flexible now. You know, so
Mm.
it's been able to reach around and do these things. But yeah, the first challenge was the TLC, the 10 to 11 care on the back. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
In the shower, and then when you get out the shower, so your back ain't all itching when you need the moisturizers. And despite the help, the light signals I put up in the air for help, for extra hands to come, moisturize my back. The best I got was some suggestions on, hey, you could buy this little back spatula that you could do that on your own. So I said, man,
Listen,
boy, the nurturers, hey, the universe has stopped making nurturers out here in the world, huh? If a man is expecting some nurturing, boy, you can't look for it, even when you go into a surgery situation, which that must be new because when I went to see our uncle, over the holidays,
right?
I was so inspired with all the love that was surrounding him and
Oh
the
my goodness.
TLC he was getting. So
You
I was
do
like, that was great.
realize you do realize that those things can, from a contextual perspective, are absolutely different. So like one person is nearing what did you say? He's nearing his final
Yeah,
moments on
yeah.
earth, and the other person has spent a lifetime creating an environment where his closet remains unfull, And there's lots of expectations for those very individuals that are some spoken and some unspoken, who when he is in pain, he sends his sentinels for help. I think my observation of everything that went down is folk don't know when you really need help because you don't necessarily ask
Yeah,
for
that's
help.
true. I don't, but it's funny because sometimes people will ask you, "Hey, what do you need? Do you need something?" So people reached out to me and asked me that. I said, "Yeah, I do actually need something. I would like to get, some ultra sexy waitress and a couple of sexy exotic dancers. That's what I need." and, and guess what happened?
What happened?
Request denied.
Well, you know what?
People watching the show, they said, "Oh, you don't need all that." I said, "What do you mean I don't need all that? You asked me what I need. I just told you what I need. I need some, you know, some entertainment
Well,
brought to me."
you
you know
know,
what
you
I
know what that teaches me. I'm going to tell
mean?
you what that teaches me about the kind of person that you are. You know, we've had these conversations before about, how it's a
hmm
karmatic exchange, right? So that means what you're giving out during your time of where you're not in need, right? You must not be walking around in your ultra sexy, I'm going to clean up your house gear and be your workman. You over there showing people the back of your head and giving demands. That's what I think is more.
Nah, that's not so though. I think like when you have an Exadian in your life, you know, Exadian makes difficult things really simple. You know
Okay,
what I
tell
mean?
me what this means. Exadian makes difficult things really.
Like let's just say,
Exadian
for
really.
instance, a person having to move, for example.
Okay.
So moving is stressful for everybody, right?
Yeah, for many
Yeah.
people.
So I think like whenever people got to move, they get this anxiety and all this stuff. Just shout out to Fareed, with his moving entity, because he says that to be a mover, to do that for living, you got to also have some empathy and have like a bedside manner touch, because people moving is most of the time it's not such an exciting event for them, so they already got some emotion in moving. So I
Absolutely.
say all that to say, the millions of times that I've moved, I've got it down to a science, a art, of doing this. But I help somebody move, and in the middle of us doing all this stuff, me and that person took a break, actually took a nap during the time and all that stuff, and they made a comment of, "Wow, this was like the easiest move I have ever done." You know what I mean? And I was just like, man, that's the Exadian factor being involved in there.
So you attributed that
So
comment to what you contributed to the scenario, which could be.
100%, which is definitely the benefit that I bring to any situation. Like even when it's a hard situation, when I'm around, the situation is much much more lighter,
Well,
for sure.
what you're asking for then is what you put out. And so what I'm wondering, and this could be a wondering from the section of people who are listening who know you well and probably were a part of that call to provide you with the dancers and the so you actually you have a weird proclivity for what you feel is entertainment because I'm trying to figure out dancers. What kind of dancers would you like? There's all kinds of dancers. Would you like me to get the spiritual one that can bring you the Holy Spirit and invite in the healing?
As
Or
long as they ultra sexy, I wouldn't mind, and of a female gender, to be quite specific. You know what I mean? And then don't forget, I need the wait staff to bring me some food and juice, you know,
they're
sustenance while I
actually
while
working.
I'm while
They're
I'm
actually working.
while I'm taking in the experience. You know what I
So wait a minute. This was a job announcement that you put.
mean?
You put out a job announcement.
Well,
So let me
I wanted to see if it was going to be responded to, and I got what I thought, which was like, no, you don't need that. All
how
you really need is one serious woman. I said, nope.
let's do
Told you what I need.
let's do the census real quick.
Yeah.
How many calls for help did you make?
I didn't make any calls for help. I just responded to questions of, do you need anything?
So how many
It,
would you say you need
2 to 3
responsible?
people I said that exact same thing to.
Okay. And
So
so
let's say
of
3.
those, okay, so I always am a person from a strategy perspective. Could those people answer your call? Of the people
100%. They could have definitely made it happen.
you think
Definitely they could have made it happen for sure.
you think they were
I
capable,
did. I had confidence in their ability
you
to
had
make that
confidence
happen.
in it. And so then let's process the feelings associated with not getting what it was that you wanted. Because
Oh,
see,
it feels so horrible. It
very
feels so bad.
so
It's
let
like it's just like looking for something, when you craving something sweet to eat. And you're like, huh, what we have in here that's sweet? And you have nothing because you got rid of all that temptation. What does that feel like to you?
well, the group chat certainly is not going to like the bald headed brother today. Prior to going into our last episode, you had made some redemption. You were on the road to redemption. You showed a part of you that felt caring, empathetic, and kind, non-misogynistic. And it seemed like over the holiday break, you lost your mind again, and now you back to this demanding of service and uh, um, this bastardization of women.
That's
And
not so, a woman serving you is not that's
you
not
said you can't have no
bastardization.
men. You can't have. You made real clear about who was supposed to be helping you.
That's
And
bastardization. That's to me that's like that's to me that's appreciation and acknowledgement.
when women run the world, we're gonna, and because it has to, because we have gotten enough of this shit with men running the world. I am going to take it upon myself to make sure that men run around in tutus out and look. Don't let me see any of your flabby chested brethren trying to walk around here. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be critical of their fats. I'm gonna be critical of that beer gut that they think is attractive, and they proudly wear around. So when women run the world, I'm going to make it a point to make sure that my requests are y'all all run around here with your shirts off, your bellies must be to a certain size. If not, you're going.
I don't have no problem with that standard. I think
Well,
that's a good thing. I
I
think
see.
that's a good thing to
Wait a minute,
make
go
the
ahead,
men to be the best they can be. I
I
think that's good.
I saw you over the holiday, and now I will say this: there has been some atrophy of the physique because you couldn't work out the way you wanted to, and there was some obvious misproportionality because that right side is bigger than that left side now.
Well,
So
that's all right.
you
You give me until you give me like 12 to 16 weeks and you're going to see something you're going to see the archetype of what you have in your vision if women ruled the world.
well, I don't think it's going to be simply 12 because you're old now. I want to remind you that you're this middle
I'm
aged
not
man.
nowhere near old.
You're middle aged, so
that
that
that don't mean nothing.
you're gonna
That'll
have to
be
be
nothing.
building muscle and stuff with a certain amount of commitment. So,
Hmm.
and I also see your diet. So I know you got some other proclivities. So it ain't just visually seeing women in the smallest little skimpy. You
Yeah,
like
but that's when I'm relaxed. I'm not serious. But hey,
you like
I'll put
you,
myself in the 12 to 16 week camp, and we'll see then.
well you
But
like
I need this type of motivation because I like to show and prove.
I like
I
well
like to show and prove. You know what I mean?
okay, folks, you heard it here. He only needs 12 to 16 weeks. I
Yeah,
know how
that's
to
it.
count on the calendar. And what I will tell you is if you don't stop eating them oatmeal cream pies, you're not gonna be in it.
Well, I haven't had them in many moons, so
But you also own a confection company,
that's
Delightful
true.
Indulgence. And so
That's
I know
true.
you be delightfully indulging, right?
Well, I haven't been, so that's part of the when I'm in the camp, I ain't gonna mess with none of that, so it ain't gonna matter.
So
So as
when
soon
are
as
you
I as
going
soon as
to
I
camp?
can start, as soon as I can start putting some weight by the end of this month, that's when my camp gonna start. So
Oh, you won't even get
we can
yourself a
say
date.
by February, the beginning of February, it's gonna be all serious from there.
All right, so you won't even give yourself a date. I gotta keep asking each
No,
week.
no, February, beginning of February, I'm gonna start. So the only reason why I gotta line it up is because I gotta go back to the doctor when they can tell me I can start putting weight on the arm because I can't
Okay.
put weight on it yet. But when I think by the end of this month, it should be good.
Okay.
And when that happens, I'm gonna really turn it all the way up, full throttle.
Now, were
And
you
then,
honest with the doctors about your level of compliance?
of course, which was I was almost 100% compliant. I'm playing with you. No, I told them everything I did. You know,
And
if I
was there?
lifted something or if I did something, they would tell me, okay, as long as this thing didn't happen or that thing didn't happen, you're good.
They were good.
Yeah, yeah. So it was all good.
Well, in addition to getting some of your independence back, you were able to fulfill one of your own dreams this
No
time
doubt.
around after it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, my next ask is when I'm getting to drive that beautiful car. You,
Whenever you ready, whenever you can come driving whenever you want.
I can.
Hmm.
You're gonna trust me to take. Now, I heard that
Well,
machine has.
whatever happens, if you driving and something happens to you, you responsible now. I'll pass the responsibility to the driver, which
Wait
is
a
my
minute.
which is
Can I
my
say?
caveat now. That's what one thing of my daughter got mad at. Remember I told you it was three things that she said she was upset with me about. So
Yeah.
the what? So that one of the three things was she had gotten an accident twice in the same day
Okay.
with the Cadillac.
Right.
And so I told her, you gotta be responsible for that. So you gotta take it to the body shop. You gotta set up the repair, and you gotta pay. Whatever the thing is, which really should be a deductible and everything,
Right.
all that. So anyway, she was mad at me that I did made her do that. You know what I mean?
Really, what age was this that you made her do that?
I don't know. Maybe she was like 18,
Did she have a job?
17. Yeah, she had a job. She was
Oh, I
working
was
at
gonna say,
yeah,
like,
she had a
because
job.
really, then you're just making yourself responsible for it. You're just
Right, right. But I still think a person need to be so whoever's driving is definitely responsible.
okay.
That's
So
my
what,
only rule.
let's define what responsible means in this context,
That
because
means
I
if you
would
back up the car, like it's funny like the I8 or whatever, the tires on these cars are like super sensitive, meaning that if you like parallel park it and
uh-huh.
the tire touches the curb, it seems like it scratches the rims. So
Oh,
if a person do that, they got to fix it. If they drive it, you got to fix it. Just
so
like I would, you know
so
what I
this is
mean?
like if it's this is like we got to do a walk around like it's a rental car.
Right, right, right. Well, I know it's pristine because anytime it's in any vehicle I got, if I do any one little thing to it, I get it fixed. So all of them are pristine. They ain't got no marks on it. Shout out to David Dorsey. He can validate it. You, he come in and
You got all these shout outs today. A lot of
shine
people
out the
be showing.
whips. My man be making sure the whips are clean. And when he does, I'll say, hey, if you see any imperfections, let me know, homie.
What does he do? He details it for you?
Yeah, he details it. Yeah, he comes
Okay,
out to
so
you and details it
oh,
though.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
got more
wonderful service.
detail. Yeah.
That's a wonderful service. Okay, so if I drive it, I'm responsible even for the.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the length of borrow, because like when I'm renting a car, I get it. It's a service contract, but I'm taking it from my brother, and this is like a lot of trust that I imagine you have in me, because how many
Well, I
horses
don't
are
know
under
because
that
I
hood?
because I heard you're you reckless behind the wheel up here that you be doing
Who
stuff.
did you hear that from?
Your husband, I think he told me, he's like
Well,
that girl reckless behind the wheel.
I've done a lot for myself where, like, I have a lot of self-awareness. So like I don't really drive at night anymore because
Hmm,
I
hmm.
can't really see that well, even though I'm like in glasses and stuff now. But
But most of your stuff happened for parking and stuff and doing stuff. So that's just like you said, being that's what
something.
my daughter was like, right? What's on your mind? How you hit something when you trying to park?
Well, some things are just dumb. Like so I have some things are dysfunctionally dumb. Like I don't like poles in the middle of parking garages. Like I just don't
I
understand
agree with you.
why they're there. So like when you're backing out, you're not supposed to have a pole. So like I've hit
You're
poles.
supposed to be looking where you're going.
I would hope that this beautiful ride you have these sensors, because I rely
They
heavily on
do.
the
They do have the senses, but you still need to be careful. You know what I mean?
well, what is it? Describe for me what it's like to ride a vehicle that has that much horsepower. Because my husband said it was some ridiculous
It's
number.
1,000 horsepower.
So
It's a
so
thousand.
so you, Exadian Amasi, can handle 1,000 horses.
Oh yeah, I can handle more than that if I had to. You know what I mean? No, but around here, it's 1,000 horsepower, right?
Hmm.
But They also, cap it. They put a governor electronically
Mhm.
on it, so it doesn't. It's still like really high speed. I think between two 217 to 265.
Oh my gosh.
So it's still like a high speed, but it's not what the car can really do because
Mhm.
they put a governor on it. But you can override the governor.
Why would we
But
do
there's,
that? Why
I
would
don't
we do
know. I mean, if you wanted to take it to a track and
Are
really
you gonna do
really
that?
boss out, I might take it to the track just to see, like, open it
How
up for
far it could
real,
go?
see what it can do.
Yeah.
But if you do that, I think it could have an impact on the tires and
Mm,
stuff like that because you gotta have special tires when
to run on
cars
the
going
track.
that fast.
Well,
Yeah.
you listen. You just let me know because I need the most safe environment I can.
Yeah, I'm with you on
I'm
that.
I'm very excited for you. It's a beautiful, beautiful
Nah, I
vehicle.
appreciate it. Yeah, it was a flex. It's kind of like one of those things. Like you said, it's probably like the last material uh material um reflection of what I desired in my youth.
Hmm.
So I probably don't have anything like else like materialistically that I would want to do in that regards. But definitely it's a flex. Beat your chest and know where you at. You know what I mean?
Right,
Feel
right.
me?
Well, I
But
think
I
that
feel blessed.
that's not talked about enough. That
Mm-hmm.
we didn't grow up with what our children grew up with, or
Mm-hmm.
or at least feeling like. I think we grew up with a lot, and then I can now reflect on that as an adult. But at least materially we didn't. And so we all had dreams, and it was when you and I were talking last week. You were talking about like some of the dreams, and we were checking things off our bucket list. And I think I shared with you how I have almost met every dream I had. So now
Mm-hmm.
I got to start redreaming. And it
Mm-hmm.
took me a while after, I had achieved all these goals, you know what I mean? Where I was like, okay, what's next? And now I'm happy that my mind is active again in that kind of creative space. But it really does take like some purposeful concentration and allowing the universe to kind of speak to you. And what I was interested in, younger, probably more material things, I'm not interested in anymore.
I'm
And
with you on that.
so
Mm-hmm.
now I think this since you don't want to ever claim middle age, well, I'm gonna help you because we don't know we Irish twins. But now I think what's important is the building of that lasting person, that spiritual growth. And I don't I have a principle set. I live within that principle set. I'm dying within that principle set, and I want to build relationships, experiences around those principles and values. And it's not things anymore because isn't this interesting, right? And this is not a slight to your car, but once I saw it, now it's like got the t-shirt, got the mug. When I drive it, it's not going to be so out of, I still got to drive it. I do have this thirst to drive it. I'm
Right,
not,
right, right, right.
but then once you do it, it's like, okay, and
Nah, I'm
that's,
with you. It takes once it's done, like once it's achieved, it's like what's next, right? Because it's not the ultimate end all be all.
right.
But definitely, it's like you gotta smell the flowers on it, because I think, like, it's just like that private jet experience, right?
Yeah.
It uh it created a momentary elation to be able to be capable to do that thing, then go to ringside at the fight also,
Right.
in the same instant and all this, and then to get like a vehicle like this, it's definitely amazing,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be able to do. But like to your point, it ain't nothing but a car. Really, be real with you,
Yeah.
it's like a little vehicle. So I'd say, or let's say that although it's reflective of being able to manifest your dreams into a reality or whatnot. I
Hmm.
still feel like it's the continuity between the past, the present, and the future. Because, like,
Right.
to me, I feel like all of those things exist in one. So,
Hmm.
like, say if you go back to an instance in our past, and the person that we are now today was inside of us at that moment as well too.
Hmm.
Now, whether people realize it or see it, and I mean, if it's hard for a person to realize, to actualize potential in someone. Like, it's
Right.
like right now, if I go, meet a girl, and let's just say
Lord,
for real, she's uh she's stripping on the pole, you know what I'm saying? And she's telling
right,
me, well, I'm doing this because I'm actually in med school to be a neurosurgeon. Well,
right,
that's unrealized potential. She could
right,
be,
right,
she could be a great mom and all this stuff, but sometimes you can't bank on that potential. So
right.
I would say that when somebody from our past might have come across us and saw that, hey, maybe they do have potential to do and all this stuff, but their situation looks suspect,
Mm-hmm.
and their situation is statistically speaking, is fraught with challenges that a lot of people can't overcome.
Right,
So can't bank, can't bet on that horse for real in the long run. So
right.
it just feels good to be able to you know have all of that, to be able to connect to people like us, or little boys like me that had this experience that I've had,
Yeah,
and all these challenges that I've faced and overcome
right.
and still dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
and some things that are, you know, inherited, some things, not really by my own choice, just circumstances we get in, some by my own hands and choices right
Right,
after that
right.
that I
Life,
just made hard
right.
for my own self. But it's just good because I like to be able to like remember these hard times, like go back to a point in a hard time in our life,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody else that might be going through those same things and dealing with the doubts and disbelief and stuff, and just knowing that there's hope that anything is possible, you
Right.
know and
How
I
do you
think.
deal with it's been
Mhm.
interesting. I love how you're saying all of this, like establishing those dreams and recognizing that, what we do, other people can see. How do
Mhm.
you deal with the fact that other people can see you and they can also be envious of you? Because I think we don't talk about that enough. And I think some people who have this adjacency to you and keeping their closeness to you, it's because they're envious. And now the more things that you outwardly acquire, which I feel like is I'm almost more cautious, always more cautious about showing my outward um possessions, because I don't want people to then become harmful. um
Yeah, I'm with you
but
on that.
but jealousy is a real thing that you have to contend with. And again, it takes a really intuitive person to see it, feel it, identify it, and then guard against it. So um quite frankly, now I'm only rocking with people that want to rock with me. I'm
Mhm.
okay. I know I ain't for everybody. And guess what? Sarita don't like your ass that much either. So like we ain't got to mess with each other. We ain't got to talk to each other. We don't got to let's just not rock with each other, because my life is whole whether you're in it or not. And I really believe that way. And I remember I said that to you before, and I said I really don't really care what people think. I'm a sing in the shower. I'm a dance in the store.
Right, right. That's
You know,
right.
I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed the hell of them kids, because I be walking in the store dancing and being crazy, because that's what I want to do. I don't live long enough now that I don't care how people receive me, because I have to do this for myself. But I know that, especially given some of the growth that has occurred in our lives, there are people who are not in our
Mhm.
adjacency that
Mhm.
are rocking with us because they really care about us. So what do you do in those moments where are fending off jealousy?
Well, it's first off, I start with myself, right? Because I can honestly admit and say that I've had those moments too. Like those hate Daniel
What?
moments. Yeah, like say, let's
Yes.
just say like if when I was younger, coming up or whatever, and it just felt like all of these things that we able to experience and benefit from now, it
Hmm.
just seems so far out of reach. Like being able to get a Lamborghini without having to be you know a um, a celebrity or an entertainer or somebody that's selling their
Football
soul, or
player or something. Yeah.
football player or some shit, right? But to actually um, have a craft that quote unquote people might look at as regular, you know, but be able to excel and thrive in that, especially when you coming into the game when you already had some shit on pause. You know what I mean?
Right.
Feel me?
Right.
So like you starting from behind the curve and you excel and then you eclipse other people. But I could see how, like, I ain't gonna lie. Let's say for instance, if I'm with a girl, right? Let's say I've experienced this before where where like I'm poor than a motherfucker. You know, I to me, when I was poor, it was like the most it's socially interactive I was with people. You know what I mean? So that
Why?
was like I don't who knows I can't tell you why. Like I think it's something I guess for me to say I would just say it was something inside of the connection then that's like more authentic, right? Because
Okay.
now it's difficult like to like make real genuine, authentic connections with people, right? To find like commonalities and shit. But like then it was different. It just seemed like shit come out the woodwork and it'd be circling around you. Everything it just was more, right? But I
Right.
remember, you know, I had a car or whatever, and it was a decent car. You know, what I'm saying wasn't nothing wrong with it. And then I was dating a girl. She got a brand new luxury car, and I ain't gonna lie, I felt envious when I saw that shit. I said, man, and I had to check myself, like, why the fuck you feeling this way? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I felt envious for multiple reasons. One, I felt like it would be a challenge for me to get that same kind of thing, at that time. I was also happy for her that she had it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I was also happy that I was connected with her because I could have access to it too. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Okay.
it wasn't like, you know, I was getting shunned off of it, but I still had that hate Daniel energy inside me where I was like, shit, I, eh, I'm happy for her, but I'm upset at myself,
Uh-huh.
and envious. So I understand the feeling first off, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Okay.
then I would say, like, honestly, yeah, like there's definitely a defense and security concern that's always present that I'm always taking into account and
Hmm.
making sure that I'm very vigilant on side of that.
Hmm.
But other than that, I don't really get caught up in how other people feeling because I can't control them. And I would say that like for me as well as you, yeah, I know the genuine, when it's authentic that somebody really is in your corner, they really happy for you, they really care about you, and they feel like they winning when you winning, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And you feel it. It's not. It's
Hmm.
and it's interesting. I want to just kind of join you in this moment to let you know. One, it surprises me because you don't besides like your cars, you don't represent a lot of material wealth. I think that
Hmm.
people would be surprised to see like just how regular you are, right?
Hmm.
And so to hear you say that you've had some envy over things that you at the time thought were out of reach is interesting to me because I've always, and again, this is what the benefit of maybe being the little sister is, and maybe even Hollywooding, we have some kind of magical thinking. I've always seen you as cognitively brilliant. And
Hmm.
so in that way, I was like, the way my brother's brain works is he doesn't see impossibilities. So I've never been jealous of people's material wealth. I've been jealous of people's mind. So, like, when I've been in a room where I feel like, I don't understand something, or I feel like people are more intelligent than me, that frustrates me because I'm like, I want to be in the know. And that comes from being around very gifted siblings. It was really hard to be your little sister. I want to tell you. It was
I hear
very
you.
hard to be your little sister. I will never forget the science teacher who told me that are you like first day I'm introduced to this dude, and like math and stuff wasn't easy for me. I had to really work. I was academically, good in school, but it wasn't because I was the person my brother was who shamefully went to sleep in class, and then when the teacher woke him up, he answered all the questions. But that's what the teacher said to me. Like, are you going to be, oh my God, we have another Jordan here. And are you going to be sleeping in my class like your brother and answering all the questions? So I just remember being very embarrassed about, like, oh my God, they think I'm as smart as him, and our oldest was really smart too. And then they gonna treat me really mean. So,
Yeah, but
and I had
but
to
I had those same things, sister. Because remember, you was a track star, right? And I remember, the one year I guess we was in school together at the
work.
same time, and they threw it. I had never, again, my mind was definitely not in the right places. I had zero guidance, and being a young man with all that kind of energy and like you say, the belief that anything is possible. Because even like you're right, I always have had the belief that anything is possible.
Yeah.
But I remember, you know, they had recruited me to go, join the track team with you. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's cool, whatever. Here it is. And then I remember this thing distinctively. The very first race I ran competitively, and up until that race, this is intramural, so we chit and chatting, mixing and mingling with the girls and all this. I'm having a great time, at this little track event. But now I got to run, so I had never did this shit before. Never did I knew the rules and nothing. I didn't know nothing. What was up? Well, I remember, I remember I was in the lane, like more the inside lane.
The
You know what
lane
I'm saying?
one. I
Yeah, I was
remember.
on lane one, and these girls was inside of the inside cheering for me, but they was like next to me and shit. And the gun goes off while I'm like chit chatting, and I start the race late. So I started thinking in my head like, fuck this, like I definitely ain't gonna be last. But yo, what I'm gonna do is catch up to the next that one person is moving to their lane, catch up to the next person who moved. So by the time the race was over, I was way over in the other lane. And I got the nerve to go ask the people what my time was. The people
I
looking at me
do.
all embarrassed
I
and
do.
stuff because you ain't supposed to jump out the lane. Well, I ain't know that. So like, all this stuff, I think that everybody got their own special talents. And
Yeah.
like I said, I told you like in the way men work, like 1,000 men could come into the room and they sizing each other up.
Hmm.
And if you're being honest with yourself, and I think no matter what, there's a thing like inside of us, like it's all knowing. So
Right.
like I can meet another man and know like in certain ways that man is better than me. Like
Hmm.
he's smarter, he's more fit, he's more attractive, he's more wealthy, you
Hmm.
know, he's just more in certain type of ways. So like these things when you come across these individuals, right? But then
Hmm.
you also realize too, like, he's still like me. He gotta eat and sleep and breathe and shit and piss. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so
Right.
these things that are not glamorous, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, like when that happens, two things can happen. One, like you can be enriched by someone who's better than you. You know how like Allen Iverson and them, they'll talk about well, when I met this dude, he had this move like Allen Iverson got the crossover from, a teammate or Michael Jordan when he was coming up. They would just talk about how, he was good, but then, there were some other players that thought they were better than him at the time at the level where he was at.
Hmm.
And then, he would work out with them and all this stuff and acquire whatever level they had. And then he would exceed their level. So when he first was like, just good, after a while of being around him, like they would have to admit, like, I thought I was better. I had more skill than him at one time, but then like he leveled up, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
I like to be like that, like be on the level up, you know. So
Hmm.
honestly, um, but it does happen to me because that's what taught me that everything, all of us human beings, every experience, we all feel it the same way. That's why we can relate to each other. You know what I
Right.
mean? You know
Right.
how like somebody could like we talking about like the envy and stuff, like we all feel it.
Hmm.
So people who would not be honest about that, is not being real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because sometimes that envy is like motivating. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I feel everything that every other human being
Yeah.
feels. It just depends on how you choose it to affect you and what you do
Absolutely.
with it.
I
You
always
know?
say how you honor that feeling. Like, so what
Hmm.
you're saying is we all are going to be, we're all going to have the range of emotions that human have, but how
Hmm.
you honor it. And so, it's good to hear how you honor those feelings. Like, I try not to give too much energy around, um, you know, lusting after material things. Now, I will work hard to demonstrate what I know. And I don't like not knowing, at least in the things that I'm interested in. Like, I'm not sure I'm interested in learning how to like change a tire or do all these other things, but the things that I'm interested in and that I feel like I'm an expert in, I really do invest time, energy, um, to be somebody that's respected.
You know
We
who I'm envious of right now?
who
Trump, President Trump. I'm envious of that
Now
man.
listen, don't
You
don't
know,
don't
you
change
know,
this thing because I'm about to knock you out.
you know
So
why I'm envious of him is
tell me
because
why.
he truly be wielding power in the sense of showing you that anything is possible if you got the power and the boldness to make it happen. Right now, I don't does it doesn't necessarily mean that I think he's the brightest man or the most attractive and this and that. He definitely is super flawed, right?
Hmm.
But what I'm trying to say is in this 1 year that he's been in office, the man has amassed a mountain of wealth that multiple, like I would say, thousands of people couldn't achieve in their lifetime, right? Together, I'm talking about collectively together, right?
Hmm.
So, and I'm not saying that the way he went about doing it and all that stuff is good, but I'm just saying that sometimes when you're looking at his situation, I'm kind of like awestruck about it. Like for instance, he got what 30 plus felonies. Now, how in the world does someone have that many damn felonies? I've never met a black person. I've never met a person, period, with that many I've never met nobody. But if
Well,
if I was in court system, because you be dealing with the courts just like I do, if you heard that, wouldn't you believe that that person probably they're going to do life or something like they doing some kind of time? Wouldn't you think that?
well, I get you're absolutely right.
Hmm.
And because I don't want to give no airtime to something that's
Right, right.
very. But what I will say is I understand what you're saying behind people who are power drunk. But what
Hmm.
I'll also say is what we give in this lifetime, we started this conversation about this kind of karmatic exchange. It's not happening without a cost.
True,
Now, I
true,
don't know the cost
true, true.
for
For Trump.
yeah,
Hmm.
but it's not happening without a cost. And I
That's
know
true.
that
That's true.
you know that cost, and we're all in some way experiencing the cost of that too. And so what I think meaningfully needs to happen now is as a group of people, as a group of humans, wherever you fall, you need to identify a way to inoculate yourself, guard against, fight against
Hmm.
things that don't sit with your belief set, and what don't sit with your set of beliefs for the humanity, right? So I'm gonna leave it at that because I done lost
That was good.
a lot of people. Like I have zero respect for so many people, and I'm losing friends and losing some belief in humanity when I hear people talk. So, um, but what's happening around us is a real master class in how to use power.
100.
But again, there's a cost, and I don't know when that cost comes. I do hope that
Hmm.
the human condition, which over if we look at history, the human condition has
Hmm.
stood up to power, and it
Hmm.
will. Now,
Hmm.
will there be some casualties, and are there casualties? Yeah.
Hmm.
uh, but that doesn't mean, and will I be able to see the cost? I don't know, but there
Hmm.
is a cost, and so I'm gonna leave it
I
at
agree. I totally agree with you. That's well said. I totally agree with you on that.
so. But because I'm also a very hopeful person,
Hmm.
um I start each year with my gratitudes, and I think we should end the show with some gratitudes.
Hmm.
So from the show's perspective, I'm really, really grateful for our time that we had off, because in that time we had a lot of growth, and you'll be seeing that roll out over the next couple episodes of some of the changes. I'm very grateful for your successes, because I truly believe when you're successful, I'm successful.
No doubt.
Um, I'm grateful for the health of my family. Um, I'm grateful for the people in my life who support the things that I do. And I'm grateful for my spouse who also has, there's a cost for his wife to be as busy as she is, who handles that cost very graciously, and planned a 3 week, like literally, I was unplugged from the Matrix for 3 weeks. And I have never enjoyed it more.
Mm,
And, you know, I will say I want to do it like again and again and again and again. I don't think I have ever been like not touched work in 3 weeks. Like literally did not touch work, didn't do emails, didn't do anything. And that was really, really challenging, at least in my mind, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
that's what's up. That's a
Yep.
beautiful thing, sister.
Yeah. So it was great. Now, what are your gratitudes? And then we got to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm grateful for first of all our grandmother who we paying homage to, each time we come here to do this. I appreciate her dedication and devotion to, developing us and being involved in our life, and then, just showing us, that first start of what real love is. And, I'm grateful for the bar she set, the standard of high expectations for us, and instilling in us things that we may not have had at that time, that I'm hoping that we are, uh, you know, demonstrating to her now, wherever she's at, she can look at us and be very proud. Yeah, I'm grateful for this overall journey, and being able to, manifest destiny. I'm very appreciative and grateful for the people in my life that really show real love. I'm grateful for and happy to see the impact and effect that the stuff that we doing here in the Rose Garden seem to have on people's lives when they reach out, and they talk about, you know uh, what they've gotten from some of the things that we've done, and that I can see the growth between us, um, in these sessions that we have. And I'm grateful for that, and that we're sharing it with the world in a way that, they can also benefit, from what we're doing. So all in all, I'm just grateful for how I see, the ultimate reality of continuing to unfold, and things are trending towards a positive direction. So when you talk about the cost, it looks like the cost overall is worth it.
Mhm. That's wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining us in the Rose Garden. We meet here every week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. We hope we'll see you next week. And it is absolutely our pleasure to honor you with this time that we give to each other. To give it, this is totally my self care, and I would be here whether you were or not. But we're glad you joined us, and
Yeah,
you
no
get to
doubt.
hang out with us and hear our talks. We hope to see you next week in the Rose Garden, brother. We got anything else to say?
No, that's it, sister.
If
See you
not,
next week.
see bye for now.
All right, bye for now.